And let's see. I think we have our guest getting lined up on the phone right now. Let me see. As Nick's checking the line. All right. We got one of them.
Yes, sir.
So we got Dave.
You saw that, huh?
I saw that. How about that?
It was.
All right.
I got the message just as she was logging off, and I was like, "Oh, I hope he notices that I'm on mute."
Let's welcome the one and only, the man who, when I first saw him, I thought Randy Rhoads came back from the grave. Dave Scott of the band TUFF LUCK. What's up, Dave?
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Good, man. Is it going to be just you, or is Kenny going to be calling in, or are you going to fly solo?
You know, I thought he was. I didn't hear anything differently, so I think we'll be hearing from him.
Okay. Yeah, because there was a call coming in and dropping off all the time, so that might be him.
Okay.
So, I mean, this has to be a pretty crazy experience you guys are going through right now. Like, did you ever think, like, there'd be a movie made about you?
Never thought it would happen. You know, it would seem like with each year that went by, you know, I thought of TUFF LUCK probably a little less and less. And then when Andrew called me up, Andrew Klein, the man who made the film, who was Todd Kelly's brother, our drummer,
right.
He called me up and he said, you know, I really want to do this. I mean, I was blown away. I thought it was a great idea, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to reunite and see some of the guys again and go through all the old videos and pictures and newspaper clippings, and just it was really a blast watching this whole thing come together, and Andrew did an amazing job.
I'll tell you what, when I started seeing the trailers and the previews, I was just like, oh my God. Like, it just brought me back in time, and I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. And I told the story at the beginning of the show, like, I guess it was like 86, 87, whenever it was, and this girl I was dating at the time, she came over my house, and she's like, here, I saw this at the record store, and I thought of you instant. And I put that on, and I heard that opening riff of Tonight, and I was just like, I'm hooked. I'm in. You got me.
Wow, cool. Thanks for saying that. Yeah. I mean that was an amazing time in my life, and you know, I don't think the 80s are ever going to be, you know, we're never going to be in a place like that again with music, and there was just so many great players at the time. You mentioned Randy Rhoads earlier. I was so influenced by Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen and all these amazing guitar players from the time, and man, for me to sit and watch it, you know, I just have a smile on my face, you know, for the first hour of the film, you know.
Now, how long of a process was this, putting this all together?
Well, I think it was about a year ago when Andrew flew to Florida to shoot some of the interviews. So he's been working on it about a year now, and
wow.
He's the one that really did all the work. I mean, I had to sit down with him for a few hours and talk, and he did. And, you know, he did that with some of the road crew guys and the band, but he really put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this, and also we really have to thank Todd, our drummer, for having such an amazing collection of stuff that he left behind for Andrew, you know, like all these videos. You know, Todd owned a video camera in those days and would videotape most of the shows and rehearsals.
Oh, wow.
And saved all the newspaper clippings and magazines that we were in, and so it was really cool that Andrew had all this stuff to be able to make this film.
Now, for people that don't know, that Todd, your drummer, he was killed in a robbery, was it? Yeah,
it was. It was a robbery in 1994, and in the film, you know, it gets pretty detailed as to what exactly happened that night. But it was tragic. He was my best friend. I was living with him at the time, and we were recording. We had a little studio in the house, and we were recording a new record at the time, and you know, it brought everything to its stop. You know, music was. It was no longer an important thing in our lives for a while.
Right.
And you know, I eventually bounced back and was able to, you know, start playing again. But it was hard. It was hard. He was a special guy and a great musician.
Was this whole process kind of almost like therapeutic and maybe even like a piece of closure for you guys as well?
Yeah. You know, it was a little bit of like, at times it felt like, you know, it was opening these wounds, but it didn't feel like the wrong thing to do. It absolutely felt like the right thing to do. It was like, you know, life sometimes. I have a kid now, and life, so many years has gone by, and life's gone on. So it was kind of nice to revisit all that, and I mean, there's a lot of bad too, but
sure.
Just celebrate Todd's life, and because that was a special time for him. He always told us, you know, before he died, he always said that those years in Tough Luck, 87, 88, 89, were some of the best years of his life. So,
I bet
it was just, it's fun to watch. I mean, it's a great film, and I really, hats off to Andrew for the great job he did on it.
Now, you said you have a son. You said.
I do, yeah.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 8. 8 years.
Did he like see any of the movie or any of his father up on stage?
He did. Well,
what did he think?
He loved it. We had a premiere party a couple weeks ago down in Fort Lauderdale, and he was there, and he loved it. You know, there's like one little small section of the film where I walked him out. I think it would have been a little too much for him to see.
Right.
What happened to Todd, but 95% of the film he got to see, and he just loved it. You know,
wow.
He thinks it's funny seeing his dad with this giant, you know, bleach blonde hair spiked up and leather pants and all that stuff. He gets a kick out of that. But he likes the music. He really likes the music that Tough Luck made. That's
awesome. That's got to be a great feeling for you as well.
Yeah, and I hope he ends up, you know, playing. I bought him, you know, he's got everything: a drum set, a guitar, a piano. I hope he ends up playing too. But if he doesn't, that's fine.
Now, when Todd's brother Andrew did he manage you guys back then as well, or
he did not. He was kind of you know, on our crew with us. He was at every show, and he was always like right behind my amp if I needed anything, and he'd always, you know, help me set up my gear and tear it down, and he was with us every step of the way. But we never really had an official manager, and that was probably one of the things that hurt us. You know, we were kind of representing ourselves, and we were kids at the time. You know, when Tough Luck formed, I was 18 years old, so representing ourselves probably wasn't the smartest thing to do.
I guess at that point, like, you guys realized, like, wow, it is like a music business. It's not just about us writing some great songs and playing and, you know, living the rock and roll dream. Yeah.
I mean, you know, when labels started coming to see us and all that, you know, we didn't really know how to talk to them. We were just ourselves. We talked about music, but we didn't know how to negotiate things, and we didn't really take advantage of, you know, what some other bands were doing, where they were selling a bunch of merch and making all this money. We weren't great at that stuff, but we did get in that rehearsal room every night and play and write music, and that's what was important to us.
Now, when Andrew came to you guys about doing this, were you for it initially, or were you kind of like, I don't know, or?
No, everybody was for it. I mean, we were a little nervous about it because, you know, we didn't know in the end, you know, how it would all be portrayed. You know, all you can do is sit down and do your interview and then let Andy piece that whole puzzle together. And
right.
We didn't really know how it was all going to look when it was done, but man, I'm just blown away. I'm really blown away by what a great film he made. And I don't think it's just a great film for people who love that type of music. I think it's a great film for people who like any kind of music or have any interest at all in seeing what a band might go through on that kind of that struggle road to success, or, you know, trying to get there. It's interesting.
You know, I can't wait to see it. I mean, because, like, I guess you're only probably a couple years older than me, but I mean, like, at that time, like I said, like I was instantly hooked to the music and you guys. And actually, I saw you guys came to Philly. I don't remember when, but you played the Empire Rock Club, and I saw you guys there.
I remember playing there a few times, actually.
Yeah, and I was just like, I was all about it. And to me, you guys were rock stars. Like, I was like, all right, you know, they're touring, they got the album out, they're going to get signed. I mean, it's inevitable. And then it was just like, where'd you just go?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We never really got to do the tour that we wanted to do. We stayed on the East Coast mainly. Even though we were on New Renaissance Records, it was kind of a small label, and there wasn't really a budget for any tour support. So any touring we did was really us just taking our own money, jumping in the van, and going from town to town, and just making a few bucks to pay for gas in a hotel room.
Right.
So we did never really get to do the big tour, and maybe that would have changed things. We don't really know. So what we were concentrating on was the East Coast and trying to play in New York a lot to get near the labels and try and pick up a major recording contract, which we were never able to secure. And that we go into that in the film as well, about some of the people that came to see the band and how close we got to signing that deal, but it just didn't happen.
I mean, that had to been like, I would just have been going nuts. Like, I mean, here you are, getting courted by these labels and meeting with them, and I mean, that just had been like I would have been shitting myself. Bottom line, I would have been so nervous talking with these guys, and like you're saying, you guys didn't have a manager, so it was like you guys talking to them. I would have been shitting myself.
Yeah, and it was just like that. I mean, like when we went by Atlantic Records, and we walked into their offices, we'd come in with our little cassette tapes that we had made, some demos to play them some new songs, and we'd just sit and chat with them about, what we were doing. And I wouldn't say we were all that nervous. We were pretty confident in what we were doing. We just didn't really know the ins and outs of the way the business aspect of it worked. But we did believe in the band, and we thought we could be right there with Motley Crue and some of those bands that were, selling 30,000 seats every night. We really felt like we should be on those stages with them.
Right. Wow. Now, how about like the rest of the band and the crew? Have you guys all been in touch through the years, or
some of us have? But for me, what's been pretty awesome recently was me and Kenny Monroe, the lead singer. We didn't really stay in contact all that much through the last 20, 25 years. So reuniting with him was really a blast. And as a matter of fact, he's coming up to my house next week. We're going to sit down and get out my recording equipment and just tinker around a little and see what we come up with. And
nice.
And we might put out a couple new songs, just for fun, because we haven't done anything in a really long time, and that's been pretty exciting for me. But me and Andrew have stayed in touch, and me and James, the bass player, we've stayed in touch. Some of the crew guys I did lose touch with, but I got to see them all recently.
Nice. So, I guess especially at the premiere, it must have been like a family reunion almost.
It was. It was like, I heard people describing it as a high school reunion kind of, but we got to see. I think we had about 250 people that showed up for that, and
wow.
We got to see some of the fans we hadn't seen in a really long time, and man, it was what an amazing night. That was just magic. I'll never forget it. That was a really special night, and I got to thank Andrew again, because not only did he make the film, but he put all this stuff together, making sure that we had a cool night together to have this big party, and it's been crazy. It's like you said, it's just strange. It's not anything I saw coming. And the fact that people are still interested in it is awesome to me as well. Like we never had our songs available for download, and with the film coming out, we decided, well, let's put the songs up there for people to get, and we put them at Bandcamp, and all these people are buying the music now. So
nice.
It's cool to see that a lot of the old fans are coming back around to buy the stuff. You know, they probably don't have their old vinyl record from 1987 anymore, so they have some nice digital copies that people could have, and maybe we'll even get a few new fans.
You know what? I meant to check too. I honestly, I think I sold my copy on eBay. I went through and cleaned out a bunch of vinyl years ago. I think that was one of the ones.
Yep.
Now I kick myself in the ass.
New Renaissance Records, the label we were on, they never did release it on CD. It came out on vinyl and cassette, and then like a year later, it did pretty well, so they released a clear vinyl edition, and they never did make a CD. So
now going back to the premiere, the one thing you mentioned was the fans. I mean, that had been pretty wild too, to actually see some of the fans from back then and actually remember them, and they remember you. Yeah.
I mean, there were guys coming up to me, hey, Dave, remember you used to give me guitar lessons back in 88, 89, and just taking pictures with these people, and it was weird. I mean, people going, let me get you to sign the movie poster. People were tearing the movie posters off the walls and having us sign them, and it was like no time had passed. It was so strange. I mean, it hit me. I'm like, wow, I haven't seen this person in 30 years, but it felt like no time had passed.
That's crazy. And also too, I saw pictures from it, and I mean, you guys were on a red carpet. I'm like, look at this, they're walking a red carpet for their movie. I mean, that must have been just a wild experience.
Yeah, and that was all Andrew's doing, because when he would say things like that to me, there's going to be a red carpet event before the premiere. That kind of stuff always makes me nervous. I'm like, a red carpet? Do we really need that? I mean, we were a local band, and he's like, well, you're going to see. You're going to be surprised at the amount of people that show up for this thing. And when I turned the corner and I was pulling up to the theater, there was a mob of people standing in the street, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is really weird.
Now, are you still down in the Florida area?
I am. I'm about 2 hours north of Fort Lauderdale in a town called Sebastian.
Because one of the clips I saw in one of the trailers was, I guess it was somebody from your crew. They were outside one of the clubs you used to play. Was it the Button, I think it was called, or something?
Yeah, there was.
Now it's a strip club?
It's a strip club now. It used to be called the Button South, and that was the place to play down there in Lauderdale. It was one of those clubs that, if Dokken was in town, Dokken would play there, because it was pretty big. It held about 1,200 or 1,300 people.
Wow.
We actually opened up for Dokken at that club, but that was
cool.
that was our home away from home. We played there a lot, and that's actually where Jason Flom from Atlantic Records flew down to see us play, and it was just a great place. I mean, Saigon Kick came out of that. I don't know if you remember the band Saigon Kick. They came out of there. That was their place that they played a lot too, and Marilyn Manson played there. It was a really cool club, but now it's a strip club, unfortunately.
Yeah, that made me think, is there a lot of it, the clubs in the area that you guys used to play that you go past now and they're not the club no more?
There's not one of them. I mean,
wow.
We used to play a place called the Treehouse, Art Stock's Playpen. Every rock club is gone. And then I don't know if you remember how big Fort Lauderdale Strip was back in the 80s when it was a spring break town. But there used to be all these bars down there, Summers on the Beach, the Candy Store. There was another Button there, the Button North. All these bars, one after another, they're all gone, every single one of them.
Wow.
It's a totally different town.
That's crazy.
It was a cool rock and roll scene back in the late 80s.
So was there any talk when you guys started doing this of maybe, like you said, you're going to sit down now and maybe write some new songs? Was there any talk of maybe putting it together and doing a show or anything as well?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, for a split second we thought about maybe doing it at the end of the premiere, maybe jumping up and playing a few songs. And then we just decided let's have that night be about the movie and only the movie. And as far as us getting back on stage, we'll revisit that really soon. We just kind of wanted to let the movie get a little traction and wait for the right opportunity instead of just going out and playing any gig. I think something cool is going to come along soon that we're going to say, wow, this is the one to do. Let's get back in the rehearsal room, go over the tunes, because we haven't played together in so long. But I heard Kenny sing. He came. I do a blues jam every Tuesday night here in Sebastian, where I live, and Kenny took a trip here a few weeks ago and jumped up on stage with me, and I got to hear him sing, and he's just singing better than ever. So I have total confidence in the band sounding great, if we decide to do this again.
Awesome. Now, how about what have you been up to over the years? You've still been really involved in music?
I've been a full-time musician.
Nice.
I play some blues, in some blues bands, and I have to play in cover bands as well, and do some classic rock. I pretty much do whatever I can to pay the bills, but I am a full-time musician, and I've been lucky enough to get enough gigs around here where I live to just
nice.
Get out and play 3-4 nights a week and keep it going.
That's awesome. Good for you. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to get this. Andrew told me yesterday, he's like, your copy was one of the messed up ones. We have a new one. It's on the way. I was like, oh.
Yeah, he did just get the new batch in of all the good ones, and he shipped them all out, so you should have it really soon. And I hope you enjoy it. He did a great job. I can't say enough about what an amazing job he did.
That's great. So, all right, so where can everybody go to get the DVD, the Tough Luck documentary?
There are Facebook pages set up, but I know for a fact that you can get, if you go to tuffluck.net, the film is there, the music's there, if you want to buy some of the downloads of some of the old tunes, or you can find it on Facebook, Tough Luck Film.
Nice.
And just people have to remember that it's TUFF.
TUFF. Now, did you guys ever get any flack from Stevie Rochelle and Tough out in L.A.?
We never did. I'm not sure what year they came out, if we were first or not. But no, we never got a phone call from anybody saying, there's an issue here. But, in those days, I do remember, getting ownership of the name when New Renaissance was putting out the record. We just wanted to
right,
do it right and make sure that we had the name, and we did own it. So
awesome. But
no, we never did. Never had a problem with those guys.
Cool.
They were TUFF too, right?
Yeah.
Yep. But they were just Tough, if I remember.
Just Tough. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So is this like sparked you to flash back to the 80s even more?
Well, yeah. I mean, for one thing, I definitely got to, if I'm going to get back up on stage and play some of these tunes, I have to, work on my speed again, because, playing blues for so long, I've shifted gears a little bit with my guitar playing, and, I don't want to let anybody down. So if I get up there and play Tonight and Sleaze If You Please and all that, when the solos come up, I got to make sure that I can pull that stuff off. So, yeah, I've been
awesome.
Practicing my speed licks again.
Cool. Very cool. Well, I'm excited. I want to thank you for calling in, Dave. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you so much thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And, now I have to go get my MP3s now. So toughluck.net is the place to go. You can get the music, you can get the DVD, and you can just rock out and watch them, and you can do it all. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Dave. Hey, Dave, real quick, can you cut an ID for me? This is Dave Scott of Tough Luck, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
This is Dave Scott of Tough Luck, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
Awesome. Dave, thanks so much. Tell everybody I was asking for him, and we're going to keep plugging away for you guys.
Thanks so much. Have a great night.
You too.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.
All right, there he goes. Dave Scott of Tough Luck. Check out. I can't wait. I can't wait till that friggin' DVD gets in my mailbox. I'm so friggin' excited. First of all, I'm a sucker for documentaries. I really am. We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. I love documentaries. So when it's a documentary about music or something like that I really like, I'm in. I'm so in. I can't wait. Good stuff.
honestly, I've never met anybody that was that excited about documentaries. You are really into them.
Oh, dude, I love them. It's funny, as I was thinking about documentaries earlier, because I was I'm looking at my my TV stand. I'm looking down. I'm like, oh crap! I got a couple old wrestling documentaries I bought at a convention or something. I never even watched. And then I was thinking, I have this great batch of documentaries this guy made. This is for all you Dukes of Hazzard fans. I don't know if he still has them out there available. I got them off